What's up, everybody? This is Eddie Minaya. I'm a graphic designer, a visual communicator, a storyteller with more than 20 years of experience. If you're new to this channel will help you with your graphic design career, and I will give you tips from the creative director's perspective. So stay tuned. This is Eddie Knows TV.
About my man who was cool as fresh snow. His dress code was nothing but fresh clothes and the best hose. Upon his arm he kept those and kept close with his friends and family. His aim was a bin, so he saved his salary. He worked a job full time.
Hi, thank you for coming in today. Is there anything I can offer you before we start? Coffee, water? You need to go to the bathroom? The response. No, I'm good, thank you. Let's get started. Now my response. Great, let's get started. Please, did you bring anything? Your portfolio? Did you bring anything for us to review? The response. No. I thought I sent you some stuff, but I guess I didn't. But let's kind of talk through the work. My response. Okay, let's see. Please tell me about yourself. Tell me about what is it you like about design. Are you interested in print design? Are you interested in web design? What are you passionate about? Who are the artists that you follow? The designers that you follow? What inspires you? Tell me a little bit about your process. Let's start with. Why do you want to be a designer? Why did you go to art school? The response. I went to art school. It was great. I have a 4.1 GPA. I was in my student show. I was one of the top designers that their artwork got promoted to the front of the show. My teachers always loved me. I always did the extra work. It was great. My response, oh, okay. So tell me, why do you want to be a designer? I'm not sure. I mean, I think I just always liked drawing. When I was a kid, I liked drawing, and I thought, I can make money like this, so why not? My response, okay. Well, thank you for coming today. I think this has been helpful. I think, you have a little more preparation to do. I think I would like to see some samples of your work before we can even go any further. Candidate's response. Well, I can create a website by tomorrow and I can send it to you. Is that okay? All right, why don't you do that and then kind of we'll go from there. So, I'm not being sarcastic about someone coming for an interview, but I've been doing interviews for, at least 15 years. I've seen interviews where, have gone pretty much like this. Within the next 5 minutes of the interview, I have to cut it off and say, okay, we're done. Because it's really not worth my time. It's not really worth your time. I think at that point, it's the candidate's responsibility to do a little homework before they even get to the interview. So I'm going to give you a few tips and what to do when you're going for an interview. And that's showing up is part of it, but it's not necessarily the only thing. First of all, I want to tell you that if you are at the interview, you have been already screened by somebody, either by an HR company or if it's a smaller company, by the creative director or the associate creative director or someone kind of on the top tier of the design department, and they have already seen your work to some degree, and they've seen the school you went to, your work, and then they liked, and there's something that they liked about you. So the fact that you actually are at the interview, it's because they already know something about you. They've seen some of your work and they like it. Sometimes it's because you know somebody, and that's another way to get into the front door. If you know someone that works at the company, then you may get the interview even though you may not be good enough for the type of work that they're looking for. I've seen that plenty of time to, and sometimes you try to play a solid for a colleague or somebody you know because you work for the same company, but ultimately you realize that it's just not a match. But before you go for any sort of interviews, do your homework and find out, research about the company. What do they do? What do they, what is it that the company does? What is it the company's values, their vision, where they have been, the type of work that they're doing, and that way you're prepared when to talk about their work. The company, as an interview, it's great when someone comes to me and says, hey, I love the work that you've done for this client. I love what you did here, and then so we can talk about the work, and we can compare notes about process, about design, about aesthetics, about trends, about, why maybe they, even if you have some sort of insights of, maybe you could have done it better, or not necessarily saying better, but a different way, and it's, at that point it's just becoming a bouncing idea. It becomes more of a colleague thing rather than having an interview. It will get you your foot in the door faster, for sure. So be prepared. The second biggest thing, have a portfolio of some kind. You can't just show up to a design job, with just yourself. And I've been to quite a few interviews when someone just comes in with a business card. Business card might look, kind of interesting and cool and different, but that's all they have. If I'm looking for a candidate, I might have already reviewed 10, 15 different portfolios, so I'm not gonna remember which one is you. So please, bring your portfolio with you, bring your computer with you, whatever it makes you want to show your portfolio. Tangible things like if you to show are always great, but not necessarily, so if you're in the web world, or you kind of just do web digital work, then you may not have something tangible. Create something. If you're not familiar with any print stuff, I'm sure you can get some of your friends or your to kind of help you and design something that's tangible, that's printed, that you can take to your interview. That it's almost like a leave behind. Think of it if you yourself have to market, and you have leaving a leave behind for someone's desk. Even if they forget by tomorrow who you are, if they left it on their desk, tomorrow they'll remember who you are again. So all these things are little things that kind of will leave an impression to whoever's doing the interview. Many times you have to do interviews with not just 1, 2, sometimes with 3 people, and you have to bring enough. So if you bring copies of your resume, for example, bring not just 1 or 2, bring 20, just in case. If you bring intangible things, something that you're almost like a giveaway, don't bring just 1, don't bring just 2. You have to bring several, because you don't know how many people you're going to interview. Even if they tell you you're going to meet with so and so, things change at the last minute, and you may end up interviewing with more people. I've been to an interview for a job it was for USAID, the newspaper. It was a long time ago, about like 10 years ago. And the interview process took 1 full day. I was there for 8 hours, 1 hour. I interviewed 8 different people. So I took enough to have tangible things for everyone to have something about me. And everyone had different questions, and you have to be prepared. Over-prepare about not just the company, about yourself, about what you do, what kind of work you want to do, how you want to grow, how do you see yourself in a few years. All these things are important for the employer to kind of get an idea who you really are. And then look around the company and see how the company is. Is this a culture that you like? It might be a fit in terms of the work, but it may not be a fit in terms of the company. Is it an open space? Are you okay with open spaces? Is it not an open space? Is it all offices? Are you not okay with that sort of space? So all these things kind of count as part of the process of when you're trying to choose a company. And sometimes you don't know these things until you actually go to the interview. So it is important that you pay attention to all the details as you're even going through the interview, to kind of look around and see if you even like the place. They're going to be asking you the same thing. If it's an open space environment, the employer's going to ask you if you're okay with the open space. And please be straight, be sincere. Don't say yes because you just want a job, and then you're going to be miserable by the time you start, and then you're not going to fit, and then you're going to not be happy, and then you're going to be looking for another job, and that's just more work. It's not fair for you, it's not fair for the employer, because they're investing time and money. And yes, I said time and money because it costs a lot to hire someone, believe it or not, because of the time, because of the resources, because where you have to post it, etc. So be fair. If it's a place you like the work, but you just don't like maybe the environment. If you don't like the people, it's the same thing. Sometimes there is no match. Sometimes, you are a designer that you just talk a lot. You're going 100 miles an hour, and everybody's like completely the opposite. Everyone in the office is like very introvert instead of extrovert. So it may not be a match. Just the people sometimes make a big difference. So be prepared. Please have your portfolio ready. You're already there because they already looked at you. They already looked at your work, or there's something already attracted about you. So you're already halfway there. So it's just It's about impressing your possible employer with your work, with your personality, and be true to yourself. All right, I hope these are just a few tips. I hope this helped, and I will talk to you soon. This is Eddie Knows TV.
Great man, great city.